Hello, today I would like to talk about people who medically transition versus people who choose to not medically transition and how that kind of affects each other's path. Somebody suggested I do this video, I think, on Tumblr, and I thought it was really interesting because I don't think I've talked about this before. I've talked about what true scum is and, is transsexual or trans whatever a medical condition, but I've never really talked in depth about the difference and the reactions and so on about, people who medically transition versus people who don't. So let's get into it. So first of all, if you choose to medically transition, that means that you've probably gone to therapy, you're on hormones, you either, you don't have to want surgery, but usually people who medically transition want top surgery, some want bottom surgery, some want hysterectomies. There's a whole bunch of different things that could happen in somebody's medical transition. I am medically transitioning as I am on hormones and I've had top surgery. I'm not planning to get a hysterectomy, but I would like bottom surgery in the future. But there's a lot of different variations of medical transition, so don't think that medical transition means you've had everything, whatever that means. So now, what are people who don't medically transition? So these are trans people who decide to not transition medically. That just sounds like it's the same thing, but it could either mean that you're not going on hormones, so you're a non-op, non-hormone trans person. Some people pass really well without hormones and they don't want hormones, or some people just don't want to go on hormones and they identify themselves as trans, they know they're trans, they know they're male, let's just go FTM route right now. They know they're male, and even if they might not pass as male, they're comfortable enough in their body to not necessarily need medical transition. Now, there's obviously lots of debates about this on Tumblr, and I've covered that a little bit in my True Scum video, but today that's not what I want to talk about. I don't want to talk at all about the conflicts. I kind of just want to talk about how these two different paths can mean to society, how society could interpret these two different paths, and how people in the community, on this side, on the medical side, and on the non-medical side, kind of interact with each other and what their paths mean to one another. God, any of this makes sense? I have no idea. All right, let's start with the non-medical side. So if you're not medically transitioning, I know that I guess I have to talk a little bit about the conflicts, but some people in the community might really not be a fan of people who decide to not medically transition. Especially because, and I've read this in multiple books, not that I'm saying that writing it in a book means it's legitimate, I'm just saying that I've done research on this, but a lot of people on the medical side believe that people who do not medically transition are hurting the movement, and that the way society will see us if these people are identified as transgender and decide to tell people that they're not medically transitioning, that it's going to hurt our movement and we're not going to get as many rights as we're supposed to get and all of this stuff. Now, I'm not picking a side here at all, I'm just telling you these are I've seen this, my interpretations of the actions that have happened on Tumblr, I don't know. So if you're on the side receiving all of this negativity from the medical side, it could be a bit overwhelming, and I know that some people might develop hate towards people who are medically transitioning and completely hate that side of the trans spectrum. And I think that it hurts us when we fight about things like this, and I think that everybody's path is different, and no matter if you medically transition, if you don't, we're all the same. We're all humans, human beings, that's what I'm saying, we're all the same. And we should just learn to embrace each other's unique transitions. But I do agree on one part, only because I'm a sociologist, I study society, I fucking hate society. Society has this view, man, woman, that's all you got. You got some trans people. Now, society will believe that trans people are either right in the middle, right? So you're a woman, you're a man, or you're transgendered. That's not it, right? We know that trans people transition in order to fit their gender that they know that they are, and then usually fit in these two categories, male or female, to fit snugly into society. That's usually the medical transitioning. Transition? Whatever. Now, people who are not medically transitioning might be seen as the middle category because they either don't pass as male or female, or they're all over the place. I'm talking about society. Don't think these are my opinions. I'm just saying this is society. Being right in the middle, society may associate all trans people with the middle. And that, I think, is the core of the issue with non-medical transition people and medically transitioning people. Because if we want to be respected in society, and society sees us in a way that we don't want to be seen, so as, you know, maybe like non-binary in the middle, like we're not binary at all, when a lot of non-medical transition people are binary, that hurts our movement from society's view. So people are gonna think badly about us or wrongly, and it hurts us inside the community where there's like battles that start to happen about who should be seen and who should be invisible, because that happens a lot with minority groups. You know, they usually like to pick the person in the group of minorities that's like the most fitted for society, so that when they come out in public and be like, I'm trans, people can be like, oh, this person is just a man, passes well, and so on. I don't agree with this. I think it's some bull, but it's society and we can't do anything about it. So that's the issue. It's society. I don't think that, you know what? It is society. Society reflects their disgusting views on us, and we, in turn, start to fight between each other, and then society is looking at these fights and like, what is happening with these transgendered people? And that just creates more and more conflicts. I think I'm going off topic, but I think the solution is to eradicate society. No, I'm kidding. I'm kidding, oh my god, I'm kidding. I talk a lot about society in my videos, about how much I hate it, yet I choose to study it. And this is why, because when I talk about this, I get so into it, it's ridiculous. And people might not agree with me, people might agree with me, I may be talking too fast, I may be talking shit, I don't even know what I'm talking about anymore, but I believe that the way the structure is, it's never gonna work for us. We need to find a way to make society understand that there's a variety of trans people, and just because some people choose to not medically transition or are genderqueer or non-binary doesn't mean that that shows the entire trans community or represents the entire trans community. Same thing with if you see somebody like me who's medically transitioning, or even somebody who's super stealth and medically transition, that doesn't mean that that one person completely represents the entire trans community. All right, I am thinking of trans as like an umbrella term right now. Some people don't see it as an umbrella term. That's okay. I'm doing it just for the purposes of that's how society sees us and that's how we have to deal with it. Instead of dealing with it, we need to do something about it. And that's happening now. We have more and more people who are out there, more and more people who are like, look, you're trans, it's okay to be this way, it's okay to be that way, but we need to do it on a bigger level. And that's where it comes, that's where it's hard. I hope that this video is everything that you wished for when you suggested it. If it's not, I'm so sorry. Kind of went on a rant about society, but that's my life. And I'll see you soon.